October 14th, Ramesvar sees several Sankirtan distributors have arrived in Vrindavan. Around this date, give or take a day or so, Ramesvar sees two Sankirtan distributors show up in Vrindavan. At the time, in 1977, most male book distributors, like those two men, were brahmacharis. As such, they didn't have their own money. They would turn in all the donations they collected. The temples would then take care of them. Those who distribute a good number of books, the temples would send them to India for the Gorpanim festival every year. But this wasn't Gorpanim. So where did these two brahmacharis, these book distributors, get their money to buy the tickets to come to India? Ramesvar asked them, and they told him that they had to come to see Srila Prabhupada one more time. So they had been pocketing a portion of their donations for the distributing the books until they had enough to buy their own tickets. Ramesvar was the director of the BBT and the head of book distribution worldwide. What these devotees had done was not allowed, but they realized Srila Prabhupada would be leaving soon, so they did what they felt they had to do to come and see him one last time. They also informed Ramesvar that a number of other book distributors were planning on doing the same thing. In fact, they informed him that all sorts of devotees were talking and planning on how to get the money to come and see Srila Prabhupada again before he leaves. Ramesvar told me all about this later, at the end of November, and that's how I know about all of this. Ramesvar told me that when these men told him this, that Ramesvar felt that he had to take action to keep devotees from leaving their temples. In 1977, the vast majority of temples' income came from the sales of Srila Prabhupada's books. If all the book distributors would pocket their money and buy tickets, and come to India, then the temples wouldn't have money to pay their mortgages and expenses. Most temples at that time still had mortgage payments. If the temples don't have the money to pay the banks, then the banks will foreclose on the properties and take the temples and the properties away. If this happened all over ISKCON, then there would have been no more ISKCON. In Ramesvar's mind, he knew that this had to be stopped. At least that was the decision he made in his mind, that this had to be stopped, that this can't be allowed to go on. It would destroy the movement if all the Sankirtan devotees came. So I've already described this, I've already told this in my personal story. However, there I told about the main event that it is leading up to from my own perspective, as it affected me personally. And then how it came about that Ramesvar sat down and revealed all of these details to me. You know, that is all, I explained all that in my personal story, but here in the timeline section, I will give a list of events as they occurred in the chronological order.